Hi everyone, and welcome back to Beverly Stunning Creations. In this DIY, I'll teach you how to make these beautiful wall sconces using cups that I purchased from Dollar Tree. As you'll see in this DIY, I really had to think outside the box to put this one together. So if you're curious and want to see how, then please keep watching. In this DIY, I'll be using 2 of these cups that I purchased from Dollar Tree, and they have them in several different colors. I chose these because they match my decor. When you remove the labels, you'll see that there's a little divot right in the center of the bottom of the cup. That's where I'll be putting the hole in the bottom of both of my cups. I'm going to be using my heating tool to do that, but if you don't have one, you can use an old screwdriver. Just heat it up on the stove and burn a hole through the bottom of the cup. If you use these identical cups, there's 2 layers, so make sure you burn completely through both layers. Now I'm going to trace this napkin ring onto this foam board and then cut it out. I'll need 2 pieces. Off camera, I went ahead and pulled off the top layers on both sides of the foam board. My goal is to get the piece to sit just inside the napkin ring. This will give me more of a surface to work with. And you'll see why I did this later on in the video. Okay, so as you can see, this piece is not perfect, but it'll work. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Okay, here I have a set of 3 funnels, and as you can see, they're in 3 different sizes. I'll be using the smallest funnel from this set. And I picked this set up from Dollar General. The next thing I'm going to do is take the scissors and cut this little piece off the edge of the funnel. Okay, so let me just give you a rundown on what I'm doing. I'm going to attach the funnel to the napkin ring, and I'm going to attach the napkin ring to both cups. And this is going to all become one piece. This is what a couple of the attachments look like that come with the heating tool. And they're about the same size as the skinny part of the funnel. Again, if you don't have this tool, you can use a screwdriver. Just heat it up on the stove and make the hole big enough so that you can insert the funnel. As I was burning a hole in my napkin ring, I heard my heating tool pop, and that was the end of that. So I had to run out to Michael's and purchase another one. And I used my Michael's 40% off coupon, and it cost me less than $8. And I can't complain about the old one because it lasted for over 7 years. After I burned a hole in the napkin ring, I inserted the funnel to make sure that it had a really tight fit. Now I'm going to take my 2 foam board pieces and glue them just inside the napkin ring. But first I'm going to take my hot glue gun and burn a hole right in the center of each piece. I'm going to use some Gorilla Glue and hot glue to glue the foam board in place. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this is going to give me more surface area to work with. Plus I'm going to be using string lights, and the hole will help the string lights to stay in place, and the outer surface will aid in gluing my napkin rings to my cups. I also put some hot glue on the inside to help hold the foam board in place. Then I added more hot glue and Gorilla Glue just inside the other side of the napkin ring, and then inserted the second piece of foam board. Here's what it looked like with both pieces in place. I decided to glam up my napkin ring by adding 5 rows of bling wrap to it. Now I'll put this aside until the glue sets up. Now I'm going to add some bling to the top of this cup as well. I did one off camera already. I've already measured and cut the piece that I'll be using. This time around I'll be using 4 rows of bling. I also used a little bit of hot glue and Dollar Tree Fix-All to glue it in place. I'm only adding the small amount of bling to my cups because, like I said before, I think the cups are really attractive. If you decide to make these, you can decorate them any way that you want. Okay, so now moving on to the mirrors. I know that Dollar Tree doesn't carry the 5-inch round mirrors anymore, but you can find some at Michael's, and they're less than $3. I wanted a larger mirror, so I went with the next size up, which is 5.8 inches. And I'm going to glue the mirror to this Dollar Tree round floral foam. First, I'm going to remove these little pieces off the bottom of the mirror and the sticker as well. I put a generous amount of the Gorilla Glue on the mirror and a small amount of hot glue. Put the foam directly in the center of the mirror and pressed it down in place. I then put some weight on top and let it dry for about 3 hours. I'm going to decorate my funnel with the silver glitter, but before I do that, I'm going to paint the funnel gray so that the green doesn't bleed through the silver glitter. Now I'm going to paint the outside of this foam piece as well. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I'm going to add some bling wrap to the outside of this as well. And you know that the bling wrap is a mesh, so you can see through it. So covering up the white with the gray paint will make the bling more attractive. I'm going to glue a hook on the back of it, but the styrofoam may not hold up over time. So I'm going to trace this onto some foam board, cut the piece out, and then glue it on. I pulled off the top layers on this piece as well. I'll be adding paint to this piece later. While that's drying, I'll go ahead and add some glitter to this piece. I'll brush on some Mod Podge and then sprinkle the glitter on top. I shook off the excess and then put it aside to dry. Now that the glitter and Mod Podge is dried, I'll seal it with one layer of Mod Podge. Now I'll let this layer dry as well. After it dried, I glued on 4 strips of bling. Now it's time to start putting everything together. I'm going to start out by gluing the napkin ring to one of my cups, and I'll make sure that the holes in both pieces are lined up. Again, I'll be using my Gorilla Glue along with some hot glue. Here are the string lights that I'll be using. I bought these from Amazon, and I'll be sure to leave a link to them in the description below. The next step, I straighten out my string lights and put them through the top of my second cup. Then I strung it through the hole that's in my napkin ring and through my first cup. I pulled some of the string light through and then added some glue on top of the napkin ring and then placed my second cup on top of it. I pressed down on it to make sure that all 3 pieces were bond together properly. I turned it around to make sure that everything was straight. I tested the string lights to make sure that they were functioning properly, then applied tape to hold everything together until the glue set up. Now I'll put this aside a while until the glue sets up. Alright, so getting back to my mirror. Off camera, I decided to go ahead and mix some Mod Podge and glitter together and just brush it on because I just figured that would be more attractive behind the mesh bling. Normally I'd use something other than hot glue for this part, but it was really late and I was tired, so I just used some hot glue, but feel free to use whatever glue you like on this part. Okay, so the 3 pieces have been bonding together for quite a while, so I figured now would be a good time to glue the funnel in place. First, I put some of the Gorilla Glue just inside the hole that I put into the napkin ring. I then added a small amount of hot glue and then put the funnel in place. I applied a small amount of pressure to the funnel. Then I turned it over, laid it down, and checked it to make sure that everything was still even. I waited for about an hour and then added some Gorilla Glue to the back of the funnel and then glued it to the mirror. I took my time and placed it directly in the center. Off camera, I'm going to apply a couple of pieces of tape from the base across the top of the cup to the other side. I'm doing this step to make sure I get a really good bond between the funnel and the mirror. Here I'm just checking the tape and removing any slack that I see. Now I'm going to glue my hook on. I'll be using some Gorilla Glue along with some hot glue. I made sure that the hook was in the right place so that my wall sconce would hang straight on the wall. Now to make sure that the back hangs evenly on the wall, I'm going to glue on 3 little pieces of flower bling, and that'll even it out. You can use just about anything from this part as long as it's even with your hook. Now the top and the bottom part of the sconce will lay even against the wall. I'll let this entire piece bond for at least 24 hours. Okay, so all pieces have bonded together and it's really strong. I've already removed the tape. So next I'll show you what I did with the string lights. I pulled the string lights through both cups and I tried to get an even amount on both sides. I could have used a ruler and measured, but I just eyeballed it. I'm going to create a spiral with my string lights by wrapping it around this large container of acrylic paint. I partially push the bottle into the cup and then push the string lights inside. On the second side, I had already glued the battery pack to the cup, so creating the spiral on this side wasn't that easy. So wait before you do that, do the spiral and then glue the battery pack onto your cup. I removed the bottle and then used my hand to push the string lights down inside the cup. I then turned the lights on to check the placement of the string lights, and I was really happy with it. So I'm going to hang this on the wall, come back and let you see what it looks like. Okay everyone, this concludes my DIY. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave me a thumbs up. I'll be back with another DIY in a couple of days, and I hope to see you here. Bye for now.